Hey everybody, welcome to another Replica Airguns tabletop video. I haven't done a favorite BB gun video in a while, so today we're going to do one, and today we're going to look at my favorite Glock BB pistols. So these are not airsoft pistols, these are standard 4.5 millimeter CO2 powered BB pistols in different configurations. Some are blowback, one is not, some are full blowback, some are partial blowback, some are Glock licensed, and two are not. Two are KWC, 4 are Umarex versions, so the Umarex ones have the Glock licensing on them. So let's go over each of these guns. I'll talk a little bit about what I like from each of them, and at the end I'll tell you which one I feel is my favorite, since this is kind of a favorite Glock BB pistol video. So first of all, let's go over some of the differences and similarities. So again, we have a non-blowback BB pistol here. This is an Umarex Glock 19, okay? So this is the only non-blowback. Everything else is blowback, okay? All these 5 are blowback. Now these two are literally the same. They just have different barrel colors, and I thought I just to make the symmetry of the table look better, 6 guns looks better. Plus I wanted to show off the 2 barrel types, but these two are KWC. Again, all blowback, so all blowback except for this one. And these 2 are partial blowback, and these 3 are full blowback, even though these are the same. So these 2 are full blowback. Now we have Glock 19s here. This is a Glock 19X. Then we have Glock 17s here. And we have, well, these aren't really Glocks. They're not licensed. You'll notice they're different enough, just enough so that Glock won't go after them for copying their guns. They have different trigger guard shapes, different pistol grips shapes as well. They have the cutouts on the barrel, slightly different shape overall. The basically thumb guard is longer, so there's enough differences on these guns to make them not look exactly like a Glock, but to still be similar enough that people that use Glocks might be able to use these in holsters and feel kind of like they're using a Glock for training. Now in terms of generations, we have what I would call Glock version 3s or Glock 3 generation 3s here, okay? These two, you can see the grips are slightly different. This is the lower, basically the frame, right, is different. And then these two share what I'd consider to be the Glock Generation 4. It even says Gen 4 on here. But you notice that these basically frames are almost the same, except for the Glock 19X has a shorter frame, right? Because it's a shorter pistol like the Glock 19 here. So again, Gen 3, Gen 4, and not really any generation here because they're not actually Glocks. Again, these 4 are licensed Glocks. They have Glock licensing through Umarex. These 4 are all Umarex products. These 2 are KWC products. Now, in terms of being able to tear them down or field strip, you're not going to be able to field strip these 3 here because, well, this isn't a blowback gun. And these are partial blowback guns that don't actually have takedown levers. They're just molded into the slides here. Whereas all 3 of these guns have takedown levers. You can field strip them. So that's kind of nice. And again, these 3 are full blowback. Now, they're all CO2 BB guns. They're all going to have slightly different FPS. The non-blowback BB gun will shoot around 400-ish FPS. You can watch my field test shooting videos for all these guns where I do shoot them to get the actual FPS. I'll put links in the description. These semi or partial blowback guns are going to shoot the second fastest or the second highest velocity in the mid 300s roughly, maybe 360, somewhere in there. And then the full blowback guns will be kind of closer to the 300, just over 300, maybe 320 FPS. You're going to have the most shots per CO2 with the Glock 19 here, non-blowback, probably, up and over 100 shots. The semi-blowback or partial blowback guns will be next. You'll probably get 4 to 5 magazines out of them. And then with the full blowback guns, you're lucky to get 3 decent magazines, sometimes 4 if you stretch it out and slow down your shooting and let the magazine warm up between reloads. Now, in terms of magazines, these 5 have full-size magazines. I'll show you them quickly. And then the 19 here, the Glock 19, a non-blowback, has a stick mag, even though it looks like a full mag because it has the full, basically you have the full plate at the bottom, right? So anyways, let's take a look at these guns real quick. So as you can see, the Glock 19, right, all licensed and everything. No working slide, it's fixed. You do have the stick magazine. It is metal, it's got a bit of weight to it, right? And then you put your CO2 in the back there, okay? All of these guns basically are gonna have fixed sights, usually non-adjustable, but they are sort of white dot or white framed. They all have recessed barrels, which is nice. Okay, this is a double action only gun. Now there's CO2 in it, so I'm not going to show you, just in case. But most of them will have trigger safeties on them as well, and usually they work. I believe they do work. Yeah, it works on this gun too, for sure. So nice, you know, you have the working magazine releases, all the licensing and everything. So nice, this gun's got good weight to it. It feels really good. You know, if you want the highest velocity, you want a nice weighty gun, you don't need blowback, then that's going to be a nice gun for you. And then you have the Glock 19X here, partial blowback, so you'll notice it doesn't go back quite as far as some of the full blowback guns do. This one has a full-size dropout magazine, metal magazine, but there's sort of it's kind of like got this thing where the first part of the trigger pushes a BB into the chamber, which allows for better CO2 usage, and we get higher FPS and more shots per CO2 because you're actually sealing up a BB, and this whole thing goes into the chamber, seals it up a little bit. You get less leakage from it, right? So, but again, these guns don't have field strip ability because these takedown levers here do not work. Working trigger safeties, working magazine release, working slide catch release, so lock back on the last shot. I do like this gun. You're going to get fairly decent shots per CO2, fairly high FPS. I like the two-tone look. It's one of my, you know, I guess one of my favorite looking Glocks in terms of looks. I like that it's a little more compact. I like compact guns, full-size dropout mag, recessed barrel, you know, white dot sights. Got a lot going for it. Now, essentially, this is kind of the same gun. This has the Gen 3 frame, right? It's partial blowback again. Has basically the same magazine, okay? Same type of magazine as the 19X. So it's going to shoot the same, operate the same. You'll notice the slide has a little bit of a tinny sound. That's just kind of the way that these ones are, right? Again, white dot sights. No field strip ability with this gun. Does lock back. Does have a working trigger safety, recessed barrel, all of that. All right, so let's get into the full blowback guns. Let's take a look at this 17 Gen 4. And you notice how much further back the slide goes. It's a full cycle slide, okay? So it locks back a little bit forward there, but that's where it would normally lock back. You have a nicer sounding, heavier slide spring. Hear how it sounds. It doesn't have that tinny sound, right? Now there's no ammo in here, but just in case, right? So you have full blowback operation. Again, white dot sights, right? This one is field strippable. You can take it down. It does have takedown levers there, or catches, right? Everything works as expected, okay? Recessed barrel, fully licensed. Again, full size dropout metal magazine. This one looks more like a typical magazine, okay? And we're just going to take a look at one of these. They're the same, other than the one has a gold barrel and one has a black barrel. So this is the KWC. And I would say these two are going to shoot similar, function very similar. This has a nice heavy full slide operation. You can hear it's nice and heavy, snaps nice and tight, has a good sound to it. Fully field strippable, right? No licensing on this product. You do have the ports on the slide. You do have the white dot sights like you'd normally find. Just a little bit different looking than a standard Glock in some ways, like the trigger guard, the you know, the thumb area here, right? It's just a little bit longer, kind of like a 1911 almost, and the pistol grip is much more straight looking, right? But again, full size dropout metal magazine. Everything looks nice. Do the serial number on it, right? Actually, there is no serial number, but it's a serial number plate, like where it would be. And I believe that's the safety as well on this one, which is kind of cool. So you have a safety built into there, okay? And yeah, you've got the recessed barrel, no licensing, a little bit of markings on the slide. There's the serial number on the slide, okay? Yeah. So which is my favorite? You know, I do like the KWCs. I like the way the full blowback guns shoot. So I do like the way the 19X looks. It's kind of my favorite looking. But in terms of everything, I'm going to have to go with the Glock 17 Gen 4. Just because it's, you know, it's the most realistic. It's fully licensed. It has full blowback operation. I'm not as concerned with FPS as some people are. I don't mind. 300 is plenty fine for shooting targets, you know, 30 feet away, as long as it's accurate enough. It's got the full-size drop-out metal magazine. It feels like a Glock, it looks like a Glock, it operates like a Glock. It's as close as you're going to get. And it's a newer Glock, so it's the Glock Gen 4. So, you know, new, got everything going for it. Up to date, right? Nice gun. That's my favorite. That's what I'm going to go with today. They're all nice. You know, whatever you pick, doesn't matter. Whatever you're into, they're all nice guns. I'm glad we have Glocks nowadays. We didn't, you know, just a few years ago, we didn't really have anything from Glock. And I'm glad they got on board with the air guns and airsoft guns. So anyways, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think of these guns, what your favorite gun is in the comments. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can buy these guns in our Canada and US online replica airgun store over at replicaairguns.ca for Canada and replicaairguns.us for the US. If you're interested in other products, we have air guns, BB guns, airsoft guns, pellet guns, blank guns, and other accessories in both of those stores. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.